Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. What is up? What is up? How's everybody doing? It's another day in the neighborhood. Terry is here this week. Yay! We missed you last week, Terry. We missed you last week. Man, I've been in promo mode for the past couple days for tomorrow's show. Okay. I really I literally was in the middle of recording my radio show on Tuesday, and then my business partner called me and was like, "Girl, they just canceled the show." They just canceled the show. I said, "Wait, excuse me?" Yes. And I think it's something fascinating when people do this thing where they say that I'm being a victim just because I'm calling out the fuckery. The way that I was handled was ridiculous. And I saved talking about it to really tell y'all about it. So I was brought into Radio 1 in 2022. I was pursued by this brother, Colby Kolb, who is the VP of programming there. And he had really pursued me to come on. And he had been trying to get me to come to Radio 1 for years. And finally, it just made sense. Look at all these people from Instagram. So I actually left this open. Usually this is a private conversation, small doses bonus. But I left it open tonight just because I have the new show tomorrow. So this is a unique case. Don't get too gassed. This is a unique case. But this is what you're missing when you are not a member of the Patreon. So welcome all the people who are here who are not Patreon members. All my Patreon members who are in the SEAL squad, please drop a SEAL in the chat so that people can know who you are, because the SEAL squad is deep in here and they rock steady. So, I was brought to Radio 1, and I have to tell you, I was so happy about being brought to Radio 1 because they're a Black-owned company. It's owned by Kathy Hughes. Also, they came at me correctly, and I felt really good. It feels nice to have people come at you correctly. That feels good. And it's such a rarity. It is such a rarity to have people come at you correctly in show business, that I was really just excited at it happening. So when that happened, I decided to join, and I really felt good about it because ultimately I got to have the conversations ahead of time about what was what before I even joined. So hold on. So to me, that was enough. Like if we have a conversation ahead of time and I tell you what I'm about to I tell you what I'm about, and you already came for me. If you come and bring me to your space, you already know what I'm about. Now, the thing about it is that a lot of people feel like, yeah, but if you accept going to their space, then you are also accepting that you're going to have to play the game. And I think that's a bit black and white, because it depends on what you want out of it. If you're going to a place and you're like, I'm trying to keep this job and I'm trying to hold on to this job and I'm trying to be about this job, then sure. But if you're like, I'm gonna be here until I'm not, and I'm gonna be the same person I was before I got here while I'm here, then that's a reality that you understand. Which is why, like, I was not crying about being let go from the show. No, my tears were of the passionate commitment I have to being a truth teller, and how married to my mission I am. And hold on. And I feel like there's something that people don't really understand when they see that. They think it's like, I don't know what they think. It seems like they think it's pathetic, but it's passion. And for me, I don't exist in the spaces that a lot of people understand. And so I get a lot of people being really angry and nasty. I want to read y'all some of the comments I saw. So I didn't realize that there's like a whole thing of people talking about the show being canceled, like on YouTube. You got a lot of YouTube folks that their whole brand is like gossip and being mean. Like that's like their show style. Like, I think they're all kind of trying to be Wendy Williams. They're not, but they're all trying to be Wendy Williams. And so I'm gonna just read y'all some of these comments because when I tell you, people are very special. So, oh damn, it's on my other computer. Oh well. It's really wild because, and listen, y'all are like, those are APAC bots. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not APAC bots. They are not APAC bots. All right, I'm gonna read you some of these. I listened to her show in DC and I stopped because she is just too much. What she needs to do is eat some humble pie and learn how to play the game. She will be more successful. So I want to let y'all know, though, that I think we have very different ideas of success. And what I really try to talk to people about is how to like kind of reimagine what success is outside of the confines of this capitalist rhetoric that we're told. I don't aspire to, I used to, but I no longer aspire to the concept of success as me making myself smaller to help support the perpetuation of a unintellectual or unhumanitarian space. Like, I don't think that that's an example of success. I think that people feel like, getting along with the get along is success. People say, oh, Amanda Seales, she's always leaving jobs. And yeah, because I don't work well within this industry. So I left the industry. I didn't just leave jobs. I literally left Hollywood. I physically got up. I'm still paying for my house in Los Angeles because it hasn't sold yet. That's how ready I was to fucking go. So this idea, and I love the young people who are really about like, I'll be at this job, but only if. I respect that. Now, I think that there's some nuances to that get a bit muddled, but I do think that the root of it, which is, I can't be here if I have to be selling myself out. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Amanda Seales, please join the initiative to create a Mulatto History Month. Blocked. blocked. Then I saw, baby, I saw that one. Amanda Seales. Wait, this one was Amanda Seales fired after dragging Nene Lee. But the truth of the matter is that that's what these spaces call for. They want that type of headline. And the thing about it, though, is that I would not conform to that. Some people are fine. They're like, I'm going to say this wild shit that don't make no sense, but it's still going to get views. And that's fine, because fuck Amanda Seales. That's how they exist. I mean, that's really, that's how it exists. That's how things go down. They like, fuck Amanda Seales. I got to do what I got to do. Here's another one that I thought was interesting. It's insane. Are you ready? It's insane how she fell off since she was on The Real World. Maybe she should have stayed on MTV reality shows. Yeah. Yeah. Not me trying to figure out what light-skinned chick they talking about, because it wasn't me. You know what the other thing is too? Like a lot of these shows a lot of these YouTube people and influencers, like they'll do like a hit piece, and when they talk about me, they will like set me up like I really am not the veteran icon that I am. And it's like, you can dislike me however you want to, but like my credits is my credits, like period. So that's another thing that I be seeing. And then I see that and I'm like, oh, here's another one in that same vein. Wait. Genuinely asking, what was she first known as? Was she a flavor of love girl? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. I was thinking it was Coral too. Man, was I a flavor of love girl? So then I'd be like, maybe they just saying shit just to try and get like attention in the comments, because because that's nuts. And this is a bigger conversation, which will lead to the next topic I want to talk about. They said the thing is she isn't just unlikable, she's insufferable. She doesn't last anywhere because she refuses to be an employee. Correct. I refuse to be an employee in spaces where I am not an employee. When I was on Insecure, I was an employee and I behaved like an employee. I griped when I had an issue, but otherwise, I went with the flow. That's how I ended up in a fucking AKA sweater, not knowing that there was some other stuff going on that I had nothing to do with. Why did I have nothing to do with it? Because I'm an employee. I don't make decisions here. I show up, I say my lines. I show up and I say my lines. I'm an employee. So when I was on The Real, I am an employee. However, you not gonna play me. No, ma'am. I'm an employee. You not gonna play me. No, ma'am. Just because I am employed here does not mean that this place comes before my own integrity. And let me tell you something. I was asked to do that with Radio 1, and I did it. And they still threw me out with the trash. Radio 1 asked me to take down a video where I spoke about my shows being canceled by folks who are supporting the complete dismantling and of Palestinians. And when I don't know why I shouldn't be able to say that. But that was what they were like, you have to take that video down, please. Can you take it down? Because they're going to say that because they have told us that they're not going to advertise on the station anymore unless you take it down. The reason why they had to ask me to take it down versus demand me to take it down is because I was not an employee at Radio 1. I was not an employee. We had a partnership. Yeah. But people don't know these nuances about this business. They don't understand the unique things that are built into these entertainment space. They see someone on TV. They think they know what it is. They think that we're living the same life. They think that we're all in the same space because we're all on Wi-Fi. And it's just not the case. It's not the case. And I know that this idea of just being an employee, I don't think anyone should ever expect their employees to have to go outside of their value system in order to do the job. Nope. And if you're asking them to do that, then you better be either compensating them or showing up in some other way. So, one second. So I just feel like that's something that is very necessary. And, you know, for me, I'm telling you, I be trying to radicalize customer service folks. So Tiffany says, unfortunately, we all have to play a game at work to get ahead. Don't look at it as selling out. Just view it as a game. You're so intelligent and have so much to offer. Tiffany, I am 43 years old. I have been in this business since I was 8 years old. I am not here to play games. I don't have to play a game to get ahead. I've been in this business again since I was 8 years old. What are we considering getting ahead? What does that mean? Does it mean access to money? And at what point are we not playing the game, but we are actually perpetuating the problem? When does that happen? Because at the end of the day, there's always going to be a limit. There should be a limit. And what we call playing the game, a lot of times is just not letting folks get under your skin, you know, staying your course and sticking to your mission. That I shouldn't have to be playing a game in order to do that. What we often expect people to do when we say playing the game is we expect people to go against what they feel comfortable doing because that's the status quo. So playing the game really means going along with the get along in order to get yours. That is selling out. It's selling out because you're giving pieces of yourself in order to gain from them. If it's worth it to you, so be it. It doesn't change what it is. And at the end of the day, again, if that's your methodology, then it's like, fine. But the expectation of other people to do that is what is the problem. That's what's the problem. Now, there is something called buying in. To me, buying in is when you're like, okay, this may not be something I really want to do like that, but it has a bigger purpose. Okay. So I'm buying in because time is money. So I'm giving my time into this thing that, even though I know is not my final space, it's not my dream, it's not my passion, it is an effective way for me to advance my efforts. That's buying in. And there's a really big difference. Yes, Pantara Villarreal, who always has valid points, there has to be a return of investment. And I think that we've considered capitalist gain to be enough of a return of investment. And for some people that may be the case, but there's a difference between, like, I need to make this money because I need to get my mother out the hood. I need to make this money because I need to get myself into this next space. I need to make this money because I have children. That's different than I need to make this money so I can feel like I'm successful. That's not the same. I wouldn't have stayed on Insecure if it didn't actually feed me and also feed y'all. Every job that I do has 3 tent poles. I talk about this in my book, Small Doses. The money, the people, the content. 2 out of 3 have to be in place. 2 out of 3 have to be in place for me to do it. And I've worked my ass off to get to a point where I don't have to take shit just for money. And I think that what happens so often is that we value that as a goal. And then when people get to that point, we push them away and we ostracize them and say, well, you can no longer speak about, elevating the people. You can no longer speak to the community. You can no longer speak from a place of knowledge because you made it. And I think that that's really ridiculous. Now, it's almost as ridiculous as this person saying, prepare for another civil war next year. I think you have to understand that a civil war requires a group that had power losing power. Had Kamala won, there would have been a civil war. Mark my words. Mark my words. Because they would have seen that as, oh my God, the whites lost America. That's what civil wars are sprung from. A majority becoming a minority, or whatever version they think is minority. And then they act up. And then they start genociding folks because they start feeling like, well, we got to kill all of them because they're coming for us. It's never valid. Never. But I'm telling y'all, I be on with customer service trying to radicalize folks. So I had to call customer service because I'm over here shipping y'all's orders from Amanda Land Exports, the Harriet Tubman pins. And there was an issue with the bookmarks. And so when I called them, I was like, this is the wrong file. And actually we was on text. So I was like, this is the wrong file. And you sent me the wrong thing. And they were like, well, no, you sent us the wrong file. No, I didn't. So I had to really stay the course because they was really trying to tell me that I did something that I didn't do. But then I had to tell them straight up. I said, check this out, bro. I don't know where you are in the world right now, but I know this ain't your company. This is not your company. This is my company. The error that you all made is affecting my company. It ain't affecting your company. They got us sitting here talking about this, acting, and got you in a position where you got to say, I can't do nothing, even though you know there's some bullshit. And they were like, I understand. And I was like, so we need to get to the bottom of this. We need to get to the bottom of this. I need to be talking to the supervisor because they got you over here having to tell me stuff that you shouldn't have to tell me. They shouldn't have you in a situation where you gotta act like you can't solve the problem when the problem absolutely can be solved. They done put you in a corner. So they what's the word I'm looking for? Not upgraded, but they escalated it. They escalated it. And guess what? It got solved. They escalated it and it got fucking solved. Yes. They escalated it and the guy was like, okay, I see the problem. Because I made it. I was like, you need to investigate. And they were like, well, we're going to have to investigate this on Monday. I said, no, there ain't no Monday. This needs to get investigated right now. I don't got till Monday for y'all's error to get figured out. They fixed it. And Buddy, who fixed it, he was like, yeah, this was our error. But, okay. So this is a great example, though, where someone would say, oh, my gosh, she's so difficult. This is the perfect example. She's so difficult. She's so extra. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody should be fucking difficult and extra. At this point, we need to be difficult and extra because we have been trained to be players of the game. Okay? We have been trained to be players of the game and docile. Yeah. Yes, Nasra, because I called it out because I was like, no, I'm not letting this go. They would be like, oh my God, why are you being so extra? Just give it up. No, I'm not giving it up. Yes, Bria against the world, passive. No, I'm not giving it up because I need this thing because I have made promises to people. And so you all made a promise to me when I paid for it that you would do it correctly within a particular time frame. And now we've exceeded that time frame and it was done incorrectly. So this needs to be rectified. My shit arrives tomorrow. My shit arrives tomorrow. So I had another call with the folks over, not a call, a text, a conversation with the people at ShipStation. Now, ShipStation, for all the folks out here who have small businesses, ShipStation is it's a portal that allows you to put together orders. And it has to function properly or else you are ass out. Okay? Like it's just incredibly, like, because if you ship through Shopify, it's just so many more steps. Like, because it like, for instance, ShipStation is going to send your label directly to your label maker. It's going to send your packing list directly to your printer. On Shopify, it sends both of them individually to Adobe. That's a whole extra step. Now you got to go over to those tabs and individually press print. And those require you every single time to ask it to tell it how to print. So it's like, it's you need ShipStation to be working properly to effectively get your orders out. Okay? Well, baby, it wasn't working properly. It wasn't working properly. And once again, I was on with customer service and they took $30 from me and then was trying to say they hadn't taken $30 from me. And I said, y'all took them $30. And so he was trying to be like, he literally was like, I said, I need this to get rectified. And he was like, it won't get rectified. Excuse me? I said, why would it get rectified? He said, because because I had made an error, y'all, and they were basically like, you're bad. You're bad. And the error I made was like a really like easy error to make. And it wasn't an error that I would have known was an error. It wasn't like, I didn't know that this was a problem until like some other shit from back around came around. So I was like, say what? What you mean? It's like, I said, this is some bullshit. And they typed back and were like, we do not use profanity, and we want this to be a protected space. Blah 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 blah. I said, check this out. My profanity is irrelevant. You know that I'm not cursing at you. I'm cursing about the situation. So you should not even be bothered or taking anything personally as it relates to my frustration with a situation that, by the way, was not caused by you. This is an error. There you go, Terry D. The error is not transparent to her user. And I did explain that. I said this was an error that was not transparent. It was not clear that this would have been an error. Ultimately, there should have been a dialogue box that informs me that if I make this choice, these are the repercussions. If that is not visible, then I, as a user, cannot know that this is going to do this. So I said, but guess what? Me and you here, you on the other side of the world, and me and you are here stuck talking about $30 on a system that neither of us built. Ain't that some bullshit? He didn't check me on that one. Then he got really committed to figuring out the problems. Frustration with the situation. So I at this point now, I be trying to radicalize all the customer service folks and really like bring it to the clarity. Like, look at what we're doing right now. Does this make sense to you? Because somebody else is getting paid to actually deal with this. And so put me up to their pay grade, because you shouldn't have to deal with this, because you didn't create this problem. And you're not even in middle management. You know, I was really frustrated with middle management with the Amanda Seales show, my radio show, because the person who had been assigned to me as middle manager, he just really flipped. He really flipped the script on me. And that's happened to me twice now with Black men in radio, specifically Black men in radio, where it's like they do all of this befriending, and then they just flip the script. And they flip the script when you assert how you want to be treated. That's when the script has been flipped on me. When I asserted I did not like being treated like that, I expect to be treated like this. I never heard from my point person again. So if there is something about ratings, if there was something about ratings with my show, if there were issues with my show, they were never verbalized to me or my business partner, who was also a point person. They were never verbalized to my executive producer, or if they were, she never verbalized that to me. And I would ask on a regular basis, you know, what's going on? Are they talking to you? Because they're not talking to us. And I just think what ended up happening was I really just bruised this man's ego. And sometimes I can't even believe that it could be that basic, but a lot of times it really is. No, Adrian, there was no warning. I literally was in the middle of recording my radio show and got a call on Tuesday night that my radio show, The Amanda Seales Show, had been canceled. So here we are, and I'm now starting Views from Amanda Land, and that will be on Monday through Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern here on YouTube, Amanda Seales TV. So subscribe, and hopefully, we can get things cracking with this, because I've never done a morning show on digital. Like, I didn't even think about that. And I was talking to Funky Dineva, and Funky Dineva was like, I was thinking, like, I'm gonna start something in the new year. And he was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. He was like, no, baby, you need to start on Monday. No, it's not the same crew. It's just me. So hopefully that's enough for you. No, it's not the same crew. When I was at Radio 1, I was partnered with employees of Radio 1. TJ and Supreme are employees of Radio 1. And I had to, come through and decide how I wanted to make things work. And that required folks to actually have to shift, to step up, to change, because I am a very demanding person to work for, because I know the quality of what I want to give to the audience. And I know the specificity that is required. And I know that I don't have the same frame of error, the same range of error that other people have, because a lot of people don't care about facts. So it's fine to just like be on here pontificating and saying whatever the fuck. However, I consider it to be a really important part of what I do in this world, to share facts and the news. And so I have to be able to margin for error. Thank you. God dang, you heard me struggling, right? I was struggling looking for margin for error. I was like, no, I don't have a dream co-host. I came out this womb by myself. I grew up in a house by myself. I am a loner. I can play well with others, but I really like to just be dolo. Like, I'm never going to live with a man again. I'm going to be loved by a man again, but we're not going to live together. I'm going to come to your shit. You going to come to mine. And I'm not going to worry about cheating and all that shit, because at the end of the day, if we've grown, then we know that we've made commitments that are for our best interest. And so cheating is not even a part of the conversation. It's not even a part of the worry. I don't need a co-host. Supreme was an excellent co-host. I had a blast working with Supreme. Excellent co-host. TJ, when she would come in, we had a great time. We had a good key. Absolutely. However, all good things come to an end, baby. And Kimberly had asked, is the show going to replay? So I will do the show live. You'll be able to be in the chat. It will also stay up here. And if you want to listen to it ad-free, like a podcast, then you can listen to it on Patreon. Thank you, my good sis. That means a lot coming from you, because you've been a part of the SEAL Squad, and your commentary is always so thoughtful, intellectual, high vibrational. And I just know that I'm really fortunate to have cultivated those folks out of a digital space that is full of trash. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Yeah, I was in the Supremes, and now I'm coming out. I'm coming. So for those of you who are joining us, this is a rare occasion where I do small doses bonus for the public. This typically takes place every Sunday at the SEAL Squad, which is my Patreon. And you can subscribe to my Patreon. It's $5. But you know what? They also have a new thing now where they are legit giving Patreon as gifts. Ooh, yes. You can give people Patreon as a gift, y'all. So I think that's really cool. And for those who you may have been talking to about it, oh, thanks, Nia. For those who you may have been talking to about Patreon, or about my Patreon, or Kev on Stage's Patreon, or Brianna Joy's Patreon, etc. Like now, or Kimberly Renee's Patreon. Now is a chance to give them the opportunity to check it out. And even if they only get it for 3 months or whatever, like I think these Patreon spaces that we're creating are super dope, not just because of what we're doing, but because of the people in the space. It matters to me to curate the space. I'm going to eventually have to hire somebody to go through the YouTube comments and erase the trash, because I don't want you all to have to see it as much as I don't want to have to see it. That's not a vibe. You know what I'm saying? That's not a vibe. And I feel like when people say things like, oh, I don't censor my audience, that's really just you being lazy and you really feeling like as long as I get engagement, I don't care what happens in my audience. And I don't believe that. I don't believe in that. I want engagement with people who are engaging, you know? And oh my gosh, this person is taking it back. I've been a day one and discovered you when you interviewed K. Dot. Ah, listen, y'all. See, that's the thing. People don't be knowing my pedigree. They don't know my pedigree. They don't know my pedigree. Okay? Been out here. Interviewed K. Dot. I've interviewed K. Dot twice. I interviewed, and we're calling him K. Dot because that's what he was back then. Okay? I don't know anything about that with Funky Dineva. This is the first time I'm hearing about that. But if that's okay, I did not know he did that. That was not kind at all. He was kind to me. But Nia, you can take your $5 back if you're going to come on here indicting me. I don't have any time for that. It is so easy for y'all to talk behind the picture of your dog about what somebody else is doing, or like I'm supposed to know everything about everybody. It's just like, why isn't there enough curiosity instead of indictment? What is that about? Why can't we ask, did you know that he did blah, 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 blah? And then I can answer and say no. But this internet has cultivated this energy of combativeness all the time. Everyone is combative. And I realized that I was living in that. I was living in a combative space all the fucking time because of this fucking space. I don't live like that. I'm a fucking delight. Y'all, my shirt has Jell-O molds. I'm a delight. And anybody who's been around me with high vibration can tell you, Amanda's a fucking delight. It's when people come with the low that I be like, nah. And I don't know if you've ever done, what's it called? Like your human score or something. But my friend Kadita had me do that the other day. And it says that when I'm not in my safe space, my emotion is anger. Brittany Clemens said, as a member of the Funky Bunch, he definitely apologized and admitted to being wrong and taking comedy and commentary too far. But there you have it. There you have it. Issa, the prickly sweater. That's JW Anderson. But sometimes I'd be like, damn, I don't want to say the name because I don't know if there's I-ness or not. And I need to do my research on if there's I-ness or not. But anywho, so the other thing I wanted to talk about tonight was, when is grace enabling? Right? When does giving grace turn into enabling? Nigel, I've done the MBTI, but I always forget what the score was. Thank you, Kimberly. We did have a time at Africa Town. A fucking blast. So much of a blast that I had hit them because I had a heat press that I was giving away. And I asked Billion if there's anybody who would want it, because there was a lot of vendors at Africa Town who do a lot of t-shirts and stuff. And I was like, does anyone want this? And so he came to my crib in Calabasas and picked it up. And, the community is communitying. Okay. So when does grace become enabling? Okay. So let's see some of you guys' responses. Dan's angel flew. So this is Danny. Until intuition says, stop showing grace. Nasra says, I'm not going to lie. I've stopped giving grace. Pantera de Real, whose name I have to say in full every time. When your boundaries are ignored and your ability to care for yourself is gone. I will be talking about this tomorrow on Views from Amanda Land. Charlemagne's grace to Andrew Schultz. I'll be discussing that on Views from Amanda Land tomorrow morning. Grace becomes enabling. The first thing that comes to mind from Eva Marie is when there's grace with no repair. I got to tell y'all, like, sometimes I feel like, okay, if someone's asking for grace, is that enough? Is it enough when they're asking for grace? Nigel says grace becomes enabling when on the inside you feel you're suffering frustration too frequently. I feel that. Rich Verma says giving myself grace feels like enabling myself. Now, I think we can combine some of these thoughts, right? Because, okay, if it's enabling when there is no repair, then is giving yourself grace for your process of repair enabling? I don't know that. I don't know. I mean, I think that I know that I'm really, really, really hard on myself. So when I am being really hard on myself, I will have to say, like, Amanda, give yourself grace and still do the correcting. But I think one of the biggest things, and Issa just nailed it, is like what was mentioned before. There has to be action behind the ask. And I just feel like there are people in my life who ask for grace while also asserting that they're not going to change this harmful, problematic thing that they do. Like, I know for me, my tone of voice is not going to change. I'm not asking for grace. I'm just asking you to understand that my tone of voice is not a reflection of you. And that's just what it is. This is how I talk. This is how I talk about birthdays. This is how I talk about puppies. This is also how I talk about, Rasa. This is also how I talk about Congo. Like, this is how I talk. This is literally the way that I speak. And I'm not going to be able to change that because it makes you uncomfortable. Maybe we are just not yoked, right? Like, maybe we'll just not be yoked. I do also, though, feel like there's certain things that people do repeatedly that is a clear representation of their own, like, emotional limitations, that at a certain point, it's not even like you giving them grace, but it's like, if they're going to be in your life, you have to accept it. So, and that becomes even more difficult when it's a family member and you're trying to accept that these are things that they're not going to change, but while also not acting like it's okay. I'll be spending Christmas by myself this year because I'm out of grace. I'm out of grace. Here's Nia. Nia said, I understand the multiple firings now. Be blessed, kids. So this is somebody who is not a kind person, but this is the type of people that are on this internet. So Nia came on and Nia said, so the same Funky Dineva who did XYZ and who did XYZ, yikes. She did that while also donating $5. My response to her was, you could have approached that differently. You didn't have to come at me with an indictment. You could have simply just asked, did you know that he did XYZ? And then when I said, no, I didn't, you would have your answer. And so this person is now saying that we are the problem and that I am the problem because she was corrected in her behavior, which was funny style behavior. And so, yes, understand the multiple firings. And when I say multiple, I've been fired literally twice. But Nia is a word that rhymes with pitch. And people who are pitches are people who are mean for no reason. People who go out of their way to bring negativity and chaos to a space where they've been invited in with love. Good to see you, Nia. Your $5 is still useful. Here they come. No, Amanda, you're the mean one. Always blaming others. Girl, look in the mirror. You are the problem. I'm not the problem. I'm not the problem. And I'm not mean. I have very little tolerance for stupidity. I don't have a lot of patience for basic behavior. I have a very difficult time dealing with people who are poor communicators. Yes. So yeah, you would think I'm mean, this person, because I would tell you that you're a ridiculous person. You would think I'm mean because I wouldn't be interested in your baseless opinions. And that would feel like I'm invalidating you. That would feel like I am just, discarding you. But this is why, exactly, Leah, this is why you're not invited to Sunday bonus episodes. Because these are safe spaces at Patreon. And the only reason that I'm here is because I'm promoting the show Views from Amandaland that is premiering tomorrow. Yes, my sister is Palestinian. My stepmother is Palestinian. So that means I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters who are Afro-Palestinian. What accountability do you take? What part do you play in it? This person's name is Messy Boots TV. The accountability that I take is that I am an incredibly direct person and I will say things like it is. I also do not play the passive role in turning a blind eye to fuckery. And when you don't play the passive role, you will then end up in confrontation because you are someone who addresses things dead on. So the accountability that I take is that I step into the light and I bring the truth into the light. And if I didn't want the confrontation, then I should just not do that. Nonetheless, I will say that I never expect the confrontation because I never really, I'm always amazed when people are so bereft of morals, of principles. And it shocks me every time. Every time. Every time. It shocks me every time, y'all. I'm always like, oh, I thought we were going to talk to each other about the truth. And yes, for a lot of people, it's not what you say, but how you say it. But you know what's been interesting about living in New York again? There have been so many times where someone said something to me in such a harsh tone, and then I actually heard what they said to me and realized that that's just how they talk. The words that they used were not sideways. I'll tell you a story, right? So I was at the vet and this woman was like, hold on. That made my night. So I was at the vet and the nurse was like taking the information about Jordy. And so she was like, all right, so what is it about Jordy? What's going on with him? All right. And she was just being very short. And I'm so used to the fucking fake and phony of LA that I started to feel a little bristle by it, right? I started to feel a little bristle. And I didn't say nothing because whatever, but I did feel some type of way. So then she finishes taking it and then she's like, you know, when you lose something and you just can't even figure out where you lost it? I was at Marshall's during my break. I was at Marshall's and I tried on a coat and I tried on the coat and I don't know where the back of my name tag went. I looked in the coat. I looked on the coat. I looked in the coat pockets. Nowhere. I looked on the floor. I looked everywhere. And I was like, oh, for real? And she was like, yes. And I just can't believe I lost it. Look at it. It's just here. I can't believe it. So I'm over here thinking that this woman is being stank. She's not. She's just being about her business. And then when she was done being about her business, she started talking to me casually. That's me. I'm about my business. When I'm done with the business, we can talk casually. When I say business, I mean I'm about my mission. And my mission is to be an artist and intellectual that helps lead people to truths that are within themselves, truths that are hidden within themselves and within the universe they're in. That's my mission. So if you are disrupting that, we're going to have a problem. We're going to have a problem. So, you know, it's like over time, I've gotten better at communicating the problem. But what I've also learned is that a lot of people it doesn't matter how you communicate the problem. They don't want to be the problem. Even though they're in a position where they might be the problem. I mean, this is the reality. By the way, I asked the lady, I said, did you check your pants pocket? She rifles down there. Oh my God! It was there the whole time. So then there was another, the young lady at the front desk, right? The young lady at the front desk, she was literally rude to me. On the phone, she was fucking rude to me. And so she was rude to me twice on the phone. Now in person, she'd be fine, but on the phone, her phone manner, her phone etiquette is nuts. And so when I came in to get my cat, I had to bring Lando in. I said, hey, hello. And she was like, hello. And I said, let me put your coat on something real quick. And I said, you know, every time I come here, you are so delightful. And your disposition it really helps in this space. However, on the phone, it doesn't come through. She immediately knew what I was going to say. I mean, she knew what I was talking about. I don't care if Messy Boots TV puts me on their page. And she was like, well, there was confusion and I was like, listen, it's not about there being confusion. It's about the language that you use to address it. And when you say to somebody, well, we have what we have, that is dismissive language. Even if the situation is, we only got this thing, you can say, well, unfortunately, this is all we have right now. Is there something else? And I said, so, I think it's worth just doing some self-exploration around how you might be misrepresenting yourself professionally on the phone. Perhaps. And she heard me. But I can also tell you that it has taken me being in a space where I can really be myself, and where I have now, so what's happening in my life is called the clearing. And it's essentially, a lot of removal. And I think that it can be really daunting for anyone to deal with. It's like you're dealing with a lot of friend death. And a lot of us deal with that in our Saturn return. You know what I mean? Like, we deal with a lot of friend death. You deal with a lot of like your life death, not the physical mortal life, but what you have essentially constructed as like the way you exist. And it requires a lot of faith. It requires a lot of faith. And the faith is in the fact that you know that you are not living in blind spots. You know that you are not a narcissist. You know that you are self-actualizing, self-examining. You know that you are doing the work. You know that because you have shown yourself that. And I don't think enough of us give ourselves credit for that and let that be a space of grounding. Because it can be really uncertain, but I always say that life is not short. Your moments of certainty are. Life is long, and it's subjectively long. So I am in a time and a space where I'm also recalibrating how I've existed within so many other people's spaces. And for a lot of people, you've only known me as a talking head on Instagram, or you've only known me as like some actress on a TV show. You actually don't know my depth. You actually don't really understand who is in front of you. And what I want to do with Views from Amanda Land is to be able to demonstrate that within a space that also encourages folks to do that with themselves. And that's what I was working on doing with the Amanda Seales Show, and I will continue to do that. And that's what we do all day, every day at my Patreon. All day, every day at my Patreon. It's about speaking into each other, speaking into the all, because I know that that's a gift I have. And so I know that it is my purpose to do so. And yeah, like, I don't think anybody really understands that I've been at this and I've been out here for like a super duper duper long time in a context that many of my peers have not. So I will stay the course. I call it relentless resilience. We fall down, but we get up. Same concept. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. No, it won't work. Same concept. I am not a Christian, but the belief in your own body's and soul's ability to be resilient against that which seeks to bring your negative to the surface and force you to exist in that is something I truly believe we all have the capability to do. Which is why don't date nobody and break up with somebody who keeps acting like their demons they just can't beat their demons. Addiction is one thing, but some motherfuckers is just assholes. And I really, my grace has run out for people who have given up on trying to be their best for those who give them their best. So I hope to see you all tomorrow morning for Views from Amandaland. We also have a moment in the show called the Show Your Love moment, where we'll pass the collection plate and folks can do supers or donate to the Cash App. But just know that you're talking to somebody who is now completely independent, who I'm not employed. I'm 100% Smart Funny and Black Productions. That's it. So when y'all hear this, hold on. When y'all hear this music, oh, don't do it. Hold on. When y'all hear this music, show your love. Show your love. Show your love. Show your love. I said, hit me in the Cash App, baby. Hit me in the Cash App, baby. Shoo-ba-doo-bop-dee-da. Scoo-da-ba-dum-dee-da. Swap-up-a-lunda-doo-dee-lunda. See y'all tomorrow at 10 a.m. I got to go get ready for the show. Mwah! Subscribe, comment, like, all the things.